Welcome. And if this is your first time here, I'm really glad you found us. This channel was created for women like you. A space where nobody is going to judge you, nobody is going to minimize what you're feeling, and nobody is going to tell you to just accept it and move on quietly. Here we talk honestly, without complicated medical language, without shame, and without that tired old story that after 50, everything is just supposed to fall apart. That's not true. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly why, and more importantly, you're going to know exactly what to do about it. If you're already subscribed, thank you for being here, and if this is your first time visiting the channel, hit that subscribe button right now, because what we're about to share could genuinely change the way your body feels starting in the next 3 days. Now let's get into it. What if I told you that there is a specific sequence of small daily changes, things you can start doing today, that may begin to shift how your body handles estrogen, inflammation, and fat storage within just 72 hours? Not a crash diet, not an extreme workout plan, not another supplement that promises everything and delivers nothing. Just a handful of targeted daily behaviors done in a specific way that send completely different signals to your body. Signals that support hormonal balance, reduce bloating, calm hot flashes, and begin unlocking stubborn belly fat that hasn't moved in months or years. Most women after menopause have never been told this is even possible. And honestly, that needs to change. Here's what most women experience after menopause. The weight starts accumulating around the belly, seemingly overnight. The hot flashes arrive without warning. The energy that used to carry you through the day disappears before noon. Sleep becomes broken, shallow, and unrefreshing. And no matter how carefully you eat or how consistently you exercise, the belly fat just stays. I went through this myself. I did everything right. Or at least everything I was told was right. I ate less. I walked more. I cut out sugar. I tried intermittent fasting. I tried low-fat diets. I tried cutting carbs. And yet the belly fat stayed exactly where it was. The hot flashes kept interrupting my nights. And I kept waking up exhausted no matter how many hours I spent in bed. What I didn't understand, and what most women are never properly told, is that after menopause, the body is operating under a completely different hormonal rulebook. The strategies that worked in your 30s and 40s don't just become less effective after menopause. For many women, they actively make things worse. And here's why. When estrogen levels drop during and after menopause, a cascade of metabolic changes happen simultaneously inside your body. Estrogen doesn't just regulate your reproductive system. It plays a critical role in how your body stores fat, how efficiently your cells respond to insulin, how your brain regulates hunger and cravings, how deeply you sleep, and how aggressively your body responds to stress. When estrogen drops, insulin sensitivity decreases. This means your body becomes less efficient at using carbohydrates for energy, and more likely to convert them directly into fat, especially around the abdomen. At the same time, cortisol, your primary stress hormone, begins operating without the buffering effect that estrogen once provided. This means everyday stressors that your body used to handle smoothly now trigger a much stronger stress response. And every spike in cortisol tells your body to do one thing above everything else: store more fat around the belly as an emergency energy reserve. Sleep quality deteriorates, which further elevates cortisol and increases hunger hormones. Inflammation rises, which makes the body more resistant to fat loss. And the body, trying desperately to adapt, enters a cycle of fat storage, fatigue, and hormonal imbalance that feels almost impossible to break. But here is what most women are never told. This cycle is not permanent, and it can begin to shift, sometimes within as little as 72 hours, when you start sending your body the right signals. This is the part of the video that matters most. Because unlike most content about menopause that explains the problem but never gives you the solution, today, we're going to talk about exactly what to do, starting now, for the next 72 hours. These are not random tips. Each one targets a specific hormonal mechanism that is directly connected to estrogen balance, cortisol regulation, and belly fat storage after menopause. Done consistently over 72 hours, These behaviors may begin shifting how your body feels, sometimes before you even step on a scale. Step 1. Ensure your morning with protein before anything else. The very first thing that enters your body in the morning sends a powerful hormonal signal for the entire rest of the day. When women after menopause start the day with coffee alone or skip breakfast entirely, cortisol, which is naturally at its highest in the morning, spikes even further. Blood sugar drops, cravings intensify by mid-morning, and the body enters a mild stress state that can persist for hours, actively promoting fat storage and hormonal disruption. Instead, within 30 to 45 minutes of waking, eat a small meal built around protein. Eggs, Greek yogurt, a protein shake, smoked salmon, cottage cheese. It doesn't need to be large. It doesn't need to be complicated. But that early protein intake stabilizes blood sugar, blunts the cortisol spike, signals to the body that food is available and stress is low, and sets the hormonal tone for the rest of the day. Do this for 72 hours and pay attention to how different your mornings feel. Step 2. Hydrate strategically within the first hour of waking. This one sounds almost too simple, but the mechanism behind it is directly connected to estrogen metabolism and cortisol regulation. After 7 to 9 hours without water, the body wakes up in a mild state of dehydration. Even mild dehydration elevates cortisol, reduces the efficiency of the liver, which is responsible for metabolizing and clearing estrogen from the body, and increases the feeling of fatigue and brain fog. Within the first hour of waking, drink at least 500 milliliters of water. Plain water, or water with a small amount of sea salt and lemon juice, which supports adrenal function and electrolyte balance. This simple act helps the liver begin clearing excess or imbalanced estrogen metabolites, supports cortisol regulation from the very start of the day, and reduces the bloating that many women after menopause experience every single morning. Step 3. Replace long cardio sessions with short resistance movement. This is the one that surprises most women the most. If you've been doing long cardio sessions, 45-minute runs, hour-long aerobics classes, extended cycling sessions, and wondering why your belly fat isn't budging, this may be the most important thing you'll hear today. Long, sustained cardio sessions in a body that is already under hormonal stress, high cortisol, disrupted sleep, fluctuating blood sugar, actively elevate cortisol even further. And elevated cortisol directly promotes abdominal fat storage. It's not a theory. It's physiology. What the female body after menopause responds to far better is shorter, intentional, resistance-based movement. 10 to 20 minutes of bodyweight exercises, resistance band work, or lightweight training, done at a pace that is challenging but not exhausting, sends a signal to the body to preserve and build lean muscle tissue. And lean muscle is the single most powerful driver of metabolic flexibility and fat burning in women after 50. You don't need a gym. You don't need equipment. You don't need an hour. You need consistency and the right type of signal. For the next 72 hours, replace any long cardio with 15 minutes of resistance-focused movement. Squats, lunges, push-ups against a wall, resistance band rows. Simple, short, effective. Step 4. Close your eating window 3 hours before bed. Sleep is the most underestimated hormonal tool available to women after menopause. During deep sleep, the body regulates cortisol, balances insulin, processes estrogen, repairs tissue, and resets the hunger hormones, ghrelin and leptin. When sleep is disrupted, and eating close to bedtime is one of the most common disruptors, all of this hormonal repair work is compromised. Eating carbohydrates or heavy meals within 2 to 3 hours of sleep raises insulin at exactly the time the body needs insulin to be low. It elevates body temperature, which delays the onset of deep sleep. And it stimulates digestive activity that pulls the nervous system away from the parasympathetic, rest and repair state it needs to enter. For the next 72 hours, commit to finishing your last meal at least 3 hours before you go to bed. If you feel hungry in the evening, a small amount of protein, a few nuts, a spoonful of nut butter, a small piece of cheese, will satisfy without disrupting the hormonal environment your body needs to restore itself overnight. Step 5. Introduce one daily cortisol reset. This step is the one most often overlooked, and possibly the one with the fastest visible impact. After menopause, the nervous system becomes significantly more reactive to stress. Small frustrations, time pressure, digital overstimulation, noise, conflict, things that used to roll off your back, now trigger a cortisol response that can last for hours. And as we've established, chronically elevated cortisol is one of the primary drivers of belly fat accumulation in postmenopausal women. Once per day, ideally in the afternoon, when cortisol naturally begins its second peak, spend 10 minutes doing something that actively shifts your nervous system into a parasympathetic state. This can be a slow walk outside without your phone. 10 minutes of gentle stretching, slow, intentional breathing, inhaling for 4 counts, holding for 4, exhaling for 6. A short meditation, sitting quietly in a garden, whatever works for you. The goal is not relaxation as a luxury. The goal is a deliberate physiological signal to the nervous system that the threat is over, that cortisol can come down, that the body is safe. That signal, sent consistently, begins reducing the chronic cortisol load that is keeping your body in fat storage mode. Step 6. Support your liver with one specific food daily. The liver is the organ most directly responsible for metabolizing and clearing estrogen from the body. When the liver is sluggish, overwhelmed by processed foods, alcohol, environmental toxins, or simple dehydration, estrogen metabolites build up in the bloodstream. This estrogen imbalance contributes directly to hot flashes, mood swings, weight retention, and disrupted sleep. One of the most research-supported ways to support liver-based estrogen metabolism is through cruciferous vegetables: broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, kale. These vegetables contain a compound called diindolylmethane, that directly supports the liver's ability to convert estrogen into its safer, more easily cleared metabolites. You don't need a large portion. Half a cup of cooked broccoli or cauliflower per day, consistently, over 72 hours and beyond, begins supporting this estrogen clearance pathway in a meaningful way. This is one of the simplest, most underused dietary tools available to women after menopause. And most women have never been told about it. You might be wondering, why 72 hours specifically? Because the hormonal systems we've been talking about, cortisol, insulin, estrogen metabolism, inflammation, are not slow systems. They respond to input relatively quickly. When you consistently send new signals over a 72-hour window, cortisol levels begin adjusting. Insulin sensitivity begins improving. Liver function begins shifting. The nervous system begins recalibrating. You may not see dramatic changes on the scale in 72 hours, but many women report that within that window, bloating begins to reduce noticeably. Energy becomes more stable. Sleep feels slightly deeper. The intensity of hot flashes begins to soften. Cravings become more manageable. These are not placebo effects. These are early signs that the body's hormonal environment is beginning to shift. And when those shifts are supported consistently, day after day, week after week, the body begins responding in the ways you've been hoping for all along. Before we talk about next steps, I want to take a moment to acknowledge something: the exhaustion that never fully goes away, no matter how much you rest. The brain fog that makes concentration feel like effort. The emotional swings that arrive without warning and leave you wondering who you are. The sudden belly weight that appeared and refuses to leave. The hot flashes interrupting your nights, your work, your life. The insomnia that leaves you staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m. The feeling of not recognizing yourself in the mirror. The quiet fear that this version of you might be permanent. This is real. All of it. And it affects confidence in ways that most people around you will never fully see or understand. But here is what the evidence continues to show. The body remains remarkably responsive after menopause when it receives the right inputs, when it stops being punished and starts being supported. You are not broken. You are not declining beyond repair. Your body is adapting, and it can adapt in a better direction when you give it the signals it needs. Now, if what we've talked about today resonated with you, And you want to go beyond these 72 hours with a complete, step-by-step method designed specifically for women after menopause. We've left the link in the pinned comment of this video. It shows a simple method built around exactly the kind of hormonal support we've been discussing, designed to help the body reduce stubborn abdominal fat, calm hot flashes, and restore energy without extreme diets or impossible routines. The most surprising thing many women notice first isn't on the scale. It's in how they feel. They wake up less inflamed. Their cravings calm down. Their energy becomes more stable. Their sleep improves. The hot flashes become less intense and less frequent. And little by little, the body stops feeling like an enemy. The link is in the pinned comment right below this video. If you're ready to go deeper, go check it out. It might be exactly what you've been looking for. I want to leave you with this. Your body is not failing you. It is adapting to one of the most significant hormonal transitions of your life, and it is doing so without a manual, without proper guidance, and often without support. The strategies that worked before menopause were designed for a different hormonal environment. They are not failing because you failed. They are failing because the rules changed, and nobody told you. Now you know. Menopause changes the rules. But it does not end your ability to feel strong, energized, confident, and genuinely healthy again. The female body has an incredible capacity to rebalance and respond positively when it receives the right support, consistently. Start with these 72 hours, just these 6 steps, consistently, for 3 days, and pay attention to how your body begins to respond. Because transformation doesn't always start with a dramatic moment. Sometimes it starts with a quiet decision to finally work with your body instead of against it. If this video helped you, please subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because we have so much more coming. In upcoming videos, we're going to go deeper into the role of sleep in hormonal recovery, the specific foods that support estrogen balance after menopause, how to read your body's stress signals before they escalate, and the movement strategies that actually work for women over 50. Every video here is made to give you real, honest, practical information, because you deserve to understand your own body. And remember, the complete method is linked in the pinned comment below. Go check it out. See you in the next video.